Blog Talk Radio.
Of our war against the American people. We're mounting a sustained campaign to crack down on every American and every person of every faith and every nation, and to bring them to justice. All missions are being executed according to plan, without warning or provocation. Americans are being swept up in an international dragnet. Thousands of FBI agents are on the trail of other citizens here and abroad. It has everything to do with hate and evil and murder and prejudice. America's strong.
Federal agents, we are armed!
What would you do if you knew all the things we knew?
We have warrants for possession of illegal firearms.
Would you turn away to? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong, or would you turn and walk away? What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth, or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong, or would you turn and walk away?
I see a message from the government. Like every day, I watch it and listen and call them all suckers. They wanted me about Osama or whatever. Picture me buying the scam, I said never. You in tune to a hard truth soldier spitting. I stay committed, gives a fuck to die, I lose commission. It's all a part of fighting devil state mind control. And all about the battle for your body, mind, and soul. And now I'm hoping you don't close your mind so they shape you. Don't forget they made us slaves, gave us AIDS and raped us. Another Bush season mean another war for profit. All in secret so the public never seek to stop it. The Illuminati, 666, all connected. Stole a vote, they control the race and take elections. It's the Skull and Bones Freemason Kill Committee. See the dragon getting shittier in every city.
What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth, or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong, or would you turn and walk away?
Now ask yourself who's the one with the most to gain. For 9/11, motherfuckers couldn't stand his name. Now even niggas waving flags like they lost their mind. Everybody got opinions but don't know the time. Cause America's been took, it's plain to see. The oldest trick in the book is making enemy. A phony evil so the government can do its dirt. And take away your freedom, lock and load, beat and search. Ain't nothing changed but more colored people locked in prison. These pigs still beat us, but it seems we forgetting. But I remember 4 September how these devils do it. Fuck Giuliani, ask Diallo how he doing. We in the streets, holler jail to the thief. Follow, fuck waving flag, bring these dragons to their knees. Oil, blood, money, make these killers ride cold. Suspicious suicide, people dying never told. It's all a part of playing God, so you think we need them. While being Ashcroft, take away your rights to freedom. Bear witness to the sickness of these dictators. Hope you understand the time, brother, cause it's major.
What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth, or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong, or would you turn and walk away?
So now you asking why my records always come the same. Keep it real, ain't no fillers, motherfucker blinging. Mine eyes seen the gory of the coming of the beast. So every story, every word I'm saying, fuck peace. so you could witness the Illuminati body count. Don't be surprised, these is devils that I'm talking about. You think a couple thousand lives mean shit to killers? Nigga, I swear to God, we the ones, ain't no villains. Or any other word they think to demonize a country. Ain't no terror threat unless approval rating slumping. So I'ma say it for the record, we the ones that planned it. Ain't no other country took a part or had their hand in. Just a way to keep you scary so you think you need them. Praising Bush while that killer take away your freedom. How many of us got discovered but ignore the symptoms? Niggas talking loud but ain't nobody saying shit. And with the Fourth Amendment gone, eyes are on the first. That's why I'm spitting cyanide each and every verse. I see the Carlisle group in Harris bank accounts. I see them plead the fifth each and every session now. And while Reichstag burns, see the public buy it. I see the profiling, see the media's compliance. War's good for business, see the vicious make a savior. Hope you understand the time, brother, cause it's major.
What would you do if you knew?
Okay, everybody, Joseph Gibson podcasting from Greensboro, North Carolina. Hope everybody's doing all right tonight here. I'm waiting for, I asked somebody if they wanted me to do a podcast here tonight. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it because I did a show last night, Saturday night. Usually when I do a Saturday show, I don't do a Sunday show, but I decided to go ahead and do one anyway. So I'm just looking at the call screen here. So I'm not going to try to take too many private callers here tonight because usually they just bring nonsense to the platform. But last night's show, if you missed it, like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to do a show here tonight, but we talked about the microchip system, and we had someone call in that says they were microchipped, and we got into a big discussion about that, and talked about the New World Order, and Mandelicon there talked about the Old World Order and about 11 million people getting together. And look, you're going to need more than 11 million people to stop these Illuminatis and these Freemasons. While you're arguing about Republican and Democrat and all that crap, you know, it doesn't matter. These politicians are put there to make you think you have a voice. You don't. They are coming for you. They travel around the country. They buy $90 baked potatoes, and it's all on your dime and your watch. They say the economy's doing so well. The economy's great. Wait a second. I thought we were $22 trillion in debt. Remember, during when Obama was president, that's all they talked about was the big debt, the debt. And if the country's bankrupt, then how could the economy be doing so well? Tell me, if any of you out there were $22 trillion in debt, how would you survive? Would times be good for you? I'll tell you why. Because we have a Federal Reserve System that controls our monetary system. If we're $22 trillion in debt as a country, how the hell is the economy doing so well? Does anyone have an answer to that? Can anyone explain that? Or shall we get into money mechanics and really get into the dirt here of understanding the Federal Reserve Banking Cartel? I called them live on this podcast a few months ago, and they said, we don't talk to people like you. We only deal with the banks. The Federal Reserve, a criminal banking cartel that controls our monetary system, controls your economy. They can make a gallon of milk go from $3 a gallon to $20 a gallon overnight. Okay? But you go ahead and vote Kamala Harris. Oh, look what she did last week. She really took it to Joe Biden, didn't she? You know, and that's what that's what you're concerned about. You know, I was sitting at a stoplight the other day and I saw these people hang on, someone sent me a message. Your show does not show up in the live chats on the main page. Did it show up last night? If someone can answer, because I don't know what's going on, why it's not showing up. Log into blogtalkradio.com/Joseph Gibson if you want to get into the chat room. It probably doesn't. Ever since they changed the chat room, no, he says. Well, ever since they changed the chat room, but see, Blog Talk Radio is basically censoring me, and you know, because my chat room is getting so full. Look on the NC page, someone's saying. All right, I'm just reading the chat room because there are people in the chat room, and you could visit the chat room if you don't want to have a live voice on the call line. I don't know where Mandelicon is here tonight. I was waiting for him. I was going to give him a voice to talk, and he's a no-show. You see, when I want to give him the floor and allow him to talk, he doesn't show up. So it's just like other people. When I don't do a show, is there a show tonight? I get a million text messages and nothing. And when I do a show, nobody shows up. Turn off your dumb phones for a little while. Stop shoving tacos in your face. Stop going to Walmart and get ripped off, or Home Depot where you buy a hammer and it breaks as soon as you hit your first nail in the ground. This is what because everything's made in China. And they laugh at you. They laugh at you. These people are laughing at you. Donald Trump, the first American president to step on North Korean soil. Yeah, that's great. That's good. Okay, first the president. Okay, but is it really that freaking big of a deal? I mean, okay. He's meeting a leader that puts his people in prison camps, tortures people, and kills them. Just like China. Mandela Khan said, I like China. You like China. Well, go over there and start talking about the People's Revolution and see how fast you end up in a prison camp. Okay? America is the last stand on earth, and we're losing America right before our very eyes. You got to remember, this started in 1776. It takes a long time to have their plan formulated to create a new world order. We've got the technology now. They're going to move forward. They just met with their G20 summit. They made all their plans. Everything's getting ready to get in place. They're going to go to war with Iran. If you pay attention to your fake corporate news, supposedly Iran bombed an embassy in Baghdad. And if you were paying attention to the other show there, remember they put mines on oil tankers. What was it, 2 Thursdays ago, and they show you these videos on the fake news. I mean, it's so funny if you understand what they're trying to do. Where were the people on the oil tanker? What were they doing? All sleeping? An average oil tanker has a crew of over 550 people. What were those 550 people doing? It's just... and they didn't see the boat drive away, or we expose these dumbed down people. We really do, and let's expose some dumbed down people. But I want to take live callers here tonight. I want you to talk about what is on your mind. There's no guests tonight. The next coming shows, I'm probably going to have some guests on that I'm going to invite and bring them back on, but. What I want to do is real quick. Well, there's Mandela Khan there. I want him to speak. There he is. He finally showed up here. Let me scroll back up to his number there. All right, there you are, Mandela Khan. You talked about 11 million people getting together, and that's when the People's Revolution is going to begin, and total recall, and the African American, or the African empire there, the matriarch, which is going to include all people except for Joseph Gibson, because I can't unite anybody. But you're the greatest man, the greatest judge on earth, and therefore the Ethiopian empire is going to have the total recall. The recall of what? I don't know. You really think Russia, China, India, Pakistan, South Africa, Germany, England, and the United States are all going to give up their nuclear weapons because it's going to be for the people, by the people, But when we're dealing with a dumbed down society that doesn't even know what a Federal Reserve note is, how are we going to reach people and bring? Look, I say it's a great idea. Let's arrest these criminal politicians first. Let's start with the Democrats because they're the worst. Okay, they're the worst dumbed down people I've ever met. Okay, and then we can go to the Republicans after that, and I say, and let's turn off the lights in Washington D.C. Turn off the lights, lock the doors, and we'll turn it into a halfway house, the Capitol. Okay, let's do that. Let's turn it into a big halfway house for everybody. And let's get all the people that don't belong in prison into that halfway house, and let's get them real jobs. Well, then again, Mandela Khan, I think he supports socialism. So, therefore, we're just going to give everybody everything and all the natural resources of Mother Earth. Nobody's going to dig oil wells anymore or create anything. We're just going to give everything away. I think that's what Mandela Khan preaches and what he stands for. But I'm going to bring him on, and he and I are going to have a discussion here about this People's Revolution. I want to get to the bottom of it here tonight, and I want to bring this People's Revolution to the table tonight. And then, of course, I'll do what I always do once cooler heads can prevail, I got some numbers here I want to call. And after MandelaCon preaches and talks here, I want to expose how stupid people really are by calling people. But also, before I bring MandelaCon on, I think I'm going to start creating a group here on social media and my followers there that I have, that if we're going to unite the people, we need to stop doing business with certain places, like Walmart. We called Walmart live on this show a couple of weeks ago. We need to stop spending our Federal Reserve notes there. We need to shut them down. Because Walmart, and we did a show also about Amazon when we called Amazon, and Amazon openly admitted they don't care about the customer because they have so many. Who cares? Okay? And then we can go after the small business owners. We got one in here in Summerfield, Luigi's Pizza Restaurant there. Nazi dirtbag. If you're a conservative or a Republican, you'll be thrown out. If you talk politics in the restaurant there, and if waitress overhears you, you'll be thrown out and removed. So Luigi's there on Highway 150. I've been trying to get people to unite and write bad reviews about them, but you can't get anybody together anymore. So MandelaCon, how are we going to get people? How are we going to get 11 million people together to have a total recall? Because you see what I do on this podcast, I try to bring people together to unite. But in order to unite people, you have to divide people so that we can understand each other's differences and understand the times in which we live in today, and that's the title of this show. So that's my intro. So let's bring MandelaCon on and see what happens. And all callers, if you want to press the number 1, you will be unscreened, uncensored. Hopefully we don't get any trolls. We exposed some of the trolls last night by calling them back, the ones that send me text messages and want to threaten me and all that nonsense. I don't know, so go back and listen to that show in the archive. And again, last night's show, we had someone call in and say that she was microchipped. She was from Kansas, and she was asking questions about the microchip system, and we started talking about technology and things like that, and it became a very interesting podcast. Go back and listen to it. It was Saturday night. It was at 7 p.m., blogtalkradio.com/Joseph Gibson. But anyway, without further ado, I invited MandelaCon on to come on, actually. I had a friend of mine, I'm not going to say who, but I sent him a message and said, hey, should we do a show tonight? And he said, sure, why not? So that's why I'm doing the show here tonight. So let's let MandelaCon come on, talk for a few minutes, and maybe we can get into an honest exchange. Now, listen, everyone, we don't have to use F words, N words, words that offend other people. Can we have an interesting dialogue here tonight? That's what we want to do. Let's educate the masses. Well, I understand when you educate all the masses, you're going to divide a lot of people, and people are going to start calling names. Like that old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. But when you start attacking people verbally, it turns a lot of other people off from the podcast. So, therefore, let me bring MandelaCon on now. Go ahead, MandelaCon.
Hey, Joe, on this, what's this, June 30th, right?
The last day of June, that's right. The last day of June until we get to the 4th of July and we celebrate America and we light off our fireworks and blow our hands off.
Well, document tonight, as I can help you remember what you forgot, as well as maybe what I know that you deliberately don't want to recognize. And that is, since I, 2 years ago, came into your system of understanding the times we live in today, if people go back to the archives of 2 years ago when I first entered in, there was a guy named Black Jesus Minister, and I came in and I called him Trash Jesus the Sinister. And I told Joe Gibson and Trash Jesus the Sinister that I don't give a damn if it's a black Jesus or a white Jesus. Both of y'all are wrong Jesuses. I'm here for the total recall of the Ethiopian matriarch Class Action 567, which will bring in Live and Let Live in One Love. That was 2 years ago, people. And there's been a multitude of women that has graced the airways of understanding the times we live in today. a multitude of women from, I can name several. Angel, Eagle Lady Love, I can name some others, but we can go on and on and on and on and on and on. So much so that there's a plethora of women on the line right now that has never probably spoke or has spoken inside of Understand the Times We Live in today. They all came because of the voice of the chosen SUN of the matriarch, Mandela Khan, the nectar. That is why those women are coming to understand the sign of the times we live in today. That is why they're here. And equally as important, for every man who finds me as a thorn in their side that you hear consistently for those 2 years, there's been a multitude of men who's been challenging me, a multitude of men who's been calling me names, who's been attacking me, a multitude of men with no woman, including Joe Gibson, that backs his New World Order, that backs his God, the Bible, the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, supports his founding fathers, as I call them. We call them the founding fathers. There's not one woman that has came to the airwaves and say, yes, I support Joe Gibson's New World Order. Yes, I support no woman. Yet there's
I don't support the new. Hang on, let me interject now. I don't support the New World Order. I'm trying to wake people up about the New World Order. That's what.
No, you're telling the people the New World Order is going to happen.
You're talking out of the horse's ass end of an eagle, or however you say it. So I don't support the New World Order. I'm just trying to let people know about the New World Order. That's going to happen.
Well, I support the old world order. That's going to happen. See, that's where we differ. I support the old world order.
What is the old world order, if you don't mind me asking?
Hold on. There you go, doing that block tackling and fumbling, and you trying to create a riot by interrogating, vetting, and questioning me without me giving you the full information on why I can talk to you this way, and I got a right to talk to you this way because I can prove what I'm saying. So, back to where I was when I said that you say that I represent this, such and such and such, this ain't going to happen, that ain't going to happen, or such and such and such. That's not a legal argument coming from you or anyone, because there's not a woman.
You also
like
said Mandela Khan and Archive shows that you support socialism.
I represent the matriarch. You don't have a matriarch that will say you're a good man, Big Banger's a good man, Dr. Leroy's a good man, or whoever the hell you bring to the airwaves. It's just them chipping and chiming at me. So many of your followers be quoting my stuff that I write. They be paraphrasing on your program, stuff that I write. You see, that's not hidden. That's live and in living color in your own archives. So I'm not alone. To me, you are alone because you put the program forward. That's okay. But when it comes to adding, multiplying so that we can come exceedingly great, you don't have the ingredients. When it comes to separating, take away, and dividing, you got the same ingredients as Tyrone Thompson. And you represent the Confederate flag that is a minority when it comes to oppression of African people in this country. And Tyrone Thompson represents the red, white, and blue that represents the red, white, and blue.
That's what the Constitution is based upon. The minority receiving the rights. Your corporate media promotes that we live in a democracy. A democracy is two wolves voting on two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. How can the minority ever receive rights if we live in a democracy? We live in a republic.
Yes, but you see, the red, white, and blue
we're supposed to live in a republic.
The red, white, and blue represents an international terrorist state that terrorizes people from Maine to Florida, Washington State to California, from the UK to University of Kentucky, from the Congo to the Bongo. So using that as a criteria, your flag represents the minority of oppression. The red, white, and blue flag represents the holistic terrorist state.
Well, let's talk about the Pan Am African Network flag. What does that represent?
I'll talk about that because when you look at Africans for the Africans at home and abroad, that means that whether we're on the continent of Africa or whether we're on the continent
Africans for the Africans. That like Rwanda, where they slaughter people and chop people's heads off and rape women.
You ask me a question, you're not going to.
I mean, come on, man.
When you ask me a question,
Africa is not a peaceful continent.
When you ask me a question, you're not going to try to character assassinate it and crush it all up with your scrambled tactics that represents the United States of America. Like I said, Africa's
facts. You want facts?
At home and abroad. You can't provide no facts because this is West Africa, Ethiopia, whether you like it or not. The United States of America is West Africa, Ethiopia, whether you like it or not. And the Ethiopian Empire's total recall, it's not going to be all black, and it's not going to be all men. Do you know how many matriarchal daughters has graced your airwaves under the standing the times in which we live? Matriarchal daughters, there's been 4 white women, and I'll name them, but I won't do that. I'll do it when I'm ready. I'm telling you that the matriarchs covers the United States of America, South and Central America, Northeast Asia, the whole so-called Arab world, because there is no such thing as Middle East, just like there is no such thing as no goddamn Israel in North Africa. That's some Ponzi scheme of monopoly, corruption, and greed that y'all set up after Hitler was so-called defeated, and then you're going to try to shove that in North Africa and say, well, look, this is the only legitimate bearer of truth and justice in the American way in North Africa. Israel is in North Africa, and there's nothing you can say about that, but it did not come down with our volition, and we didn't put that in there. And since that's one of your things, then we're going to let that be what y'all put on the table. But that's definitely not what we put on the table.
Mandela, today, though, Ethiopia has a federal parliamentary republic. This system means that the prime minister is the head of the government. Although the country has a president, most of the governing power is in the hands of one person called the prime minister. Ethiopia is actually divided up right now into 9 regional states, which is controlled by one prime minister.
Ethiopia is divided up all over the planet.
Ethiopia is all over the world. Okay, that's fine. So is America, and so are Russians, and so are Japanese. I'm just telling you facts right now. What Ethiopia right now is governed under.
I'm going to tell you facts right now. All you got to do is look at the people of Locks. Live in one love. Bob Marley, Haile Selassie.
But that's not what Ethiopia represents right now. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's what you're saying. That's
why you're trying to
No,
it's not a lie, Mandela Khan. It's not a lie.
Yes, it is.
So you're telling me that Ethiopia is not governed right now by one person, a prime minister, and is not divided up into 9
I'm telling
regional
you
states?
is that the people of Locks, they're not all black, they're not all African, they're not all men, and this is the Ethiopian Empire under the revolution of the matriarch. That's the greatest international movement on the planet. The greatest international movement on the planet. And of course, you won't recognize it. I understand, because you got to keep your jingoism of the United States of America, the greatest country that ever existed, right?
Ethiopia stand up and bring, and go against this federal legislative
power. It's not going to do so.
That's only controlled by 2 chambers of parliament. I mean, that doesn't sound like justice and freedom and a total recall of all the people.
Under your definition, you're trying to lock it into one sector on the planet. Under my redefining of your definition is that you should never have trespassed on the holy land.
Ethiopia right now is controlled by a monarch. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Anyone knows that.
And I'm trying to tell you that. I dare you to Google before the Pacific Atlantic Ocean and the United States of America was funded. If it wasn't the Ethiopian Ocean, I'll chop my head off. That proves just so
we
from
can't
history
go back in
that
time,
this was West Africa.
We can only talk about what's happening today.
Listen.
And I'm telling you right now that
the
form of government in Ethiopia is controlled by a dictatorship.
And I'm telling you,
controlled by a parliament.
In your selective amnesia, you can't go back in a certain amount of time. America was founded by the founding fathers. That's where we're going to start, Mandela. And Jesus walked the earth. That is a little bit of time as it relates to her story, see? So you tried to hide her story and then put your shit in there and try to make it up like this is where everything started, when nothing could be farther from the truth. So you can't use your selective amnesia on time.
All right, so we disagree on the history of how Ethiopia came to be and what Ethiopia is. But I'm telling you facts of what Ethiopia is today and how the people are controlled by one prime minister. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, well, let me tell you one tyrant that sits in the illegal state of so-called Washington, D.C. was the George Washington, Barack Obama, the Kennedys, the Bushes, and this guy that you like, Donald Duck, Donald, the big wall ain't going to fall. The fact is that this is the worst tyrants and overturning of democracy on the planet under the guise of your presidents and your egos.
I just explained to you what democracy is. Democracy is two wolves.
I don't give a damn about democracy. As long as white, listen, let me tell you this.
You just said restoring democracy to the globe.
No, I did not say the national and international democratic rights of the people for sovereignty, integrity, and dignity to wear their constitution, just like you and Tyrone fight for this goddamn constitution. Why do you go outside this country and destroy other people's sovereignty and integrity and dignity with your bombs and bullets because you're Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine? Because this is where you say we got to help fight them over there before we fight them over here. Why do you go desecrate everyone's constitution, but yet you want everyone to honor yours?
Because our Constitution, all right, let me answer that question. Because our Constitution is the second greatest document ever written. In my view, as studying the world history, is our Constitution gives every individual to the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, how do we expand that right to all individuals around the globe, or even in America? Today, we don't experience that because we're controlled by a monopoly banking system that controls our currency and the way we live today. And we're distracted by the politicians you just talked about, Obama, Trump, Hillary Clinton, George Bush. I agree with you there. They're all criminals. Yeah, yes. I mean, Trump actually is not a part of the New World Order. He was selected for what reason, I still do not know. Maybe to create disorder, to create a New World Order that says on your $1 bill, Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is a Greek word. But get back to Ethiopia. You're talking about the Ethiopian Empire. I don't want a prime minister telling me what to do. I don't want a federal parliament.
The final resolve you won't have. You won't have. I told you the matriarch, the Ethiopian matriarch of Ethiopia, and that's where you're.
What is the capital of Ethiopia, Mandela Khan?
It's Addis Ababa, but that's not what I'm talking about either. So here's what you got to realize.
Well, there you go. At least you know the capital of Ethiopia. Okay.
Your Ponzi scheme, your monopoly and corruption under setting up your constitutional provisions, yet you violate all of the other nations' sovereignty, integrity, and constitution. That is what is being
I'll agree with you there. You're absolutely right. We're trying to interfere with the sovereignty right now of Iran. You're absolutely correct. And they're not allowing Iran to use the Federal Reserve note right now. And that's
I'm not talking about Iran.
Of Iran.
I'm not talking about Iran. I'm talking about Cuba. I'm talking about Venezuela. I'm talking about Africa. I'm talking about the Arab world. I'm talking about wherever
Venezuela
you find the eagle. Wherever you find the eagle has went in and bombed women and children and old folks and continue to do it today in over 57 countries.
Well, Mandela Khan, so has other countries. Russia has done that.
Now,
Russia did that in Yugoslavia.
China don't do that. Russia don't do that.
Japan did that
China
back during World War II. They were chopping people's heads off. They wouldn't confront.
Russia don't do that.
We can go back thousands of years in history, but Mandela Khan, what I want to know is.
I'm talking about today. No, I'm talking about today. Russia don't do that today. China don't do that today. Iran don't do that today. The only one who does that today is the United States of America.
12.9 million people in prison camps in China. But yet you're happy to use their cell phone, you're happy to buy their product, and that's why I was bringing that up earlier. Why don't we bring people together? Let's turn up those dumb phones. Let's not buy those products from China. But we can't. Do you know that no car batteries are made in America anymore? They're all made in China. So guess what? Turn your car off. I can't do that. I got to go to work in the morning. I got to earn Federal Reserve notes. This is a big scope and a broader picture, but the bottom line is How do we understand today? What do we do today? The total recall of all the people you're talking about, Ethiopia. Well, Ethiopia is not a really good foundation to start from because I just read to you Ethiopian politics and what controls Ethiopia.
You go on and talk for as long as you want to talk, and you say what you want to say to dismiss what I'm saying, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to kick your ass on your own testimony. Go ahead. Go.
Well, I'm not going to talk. I'm going to take some callers that are waiting right now. So let's go down the line here. 248's been waiting. Let's see what they got to say. 248.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hi, heaven to
Hi,
you.
this is the Truth Peddler. I spoke with you guys back in April, or was it probably January?
Okay.
And I saw on Facebook on numerous occasions that you guys had the podcast going and everything. This is what I want to say. I respect both of you gentlemen to the utmost because at least you guys are, I would say, intelligent enough to speak on what you guys speaking on. I appreciate that with everything in me. But listen, this is what really aggravates me. When we say that people are stupid and how can we get people to wake up, it's not that people are stupid. We are, as a collective, naive, okay? So when I say naive, I mean that we have learned to trust everything, not trying to be funny. You guys are going back and forth with details that are important to you both, to both of y'all's perceptions. That is great. But as bringing us together as a collective, the details mean nothing. We have to realize that we are so naive and trusting in so many different things. What's to say that the details we've learned and the intel we've gathered is true? Only thing that we know is true that when we wake up in the morning, we look in the mirror, we see ourselves. When we go to sleep at night, we see ourselves. When we go to the bathroom, we take care of ourselves. When we get in the shower, we wash ourselves. That's the only thing that we know is ourselves. Now, to get people to actually listen and come together to even consider either of you guys' opinion, we have to look like we work together as well. Now, I understand that the podcast is basically meant to debate on and everything else, but the point of the situation in my eyes and my perception is we're so behind because we're still trusting in all of these details. The details actually mean nothing at all. At the end of the day, what can we do? We can't go whoop them. We can't take our belts off and say, y'all bad. Come here. Let me show you something. We can't do that. Only thing we can do is in ourselves do as much as we can for ourselves and create community within ourselves. So what I mean by community is just as you two have separate perceptions, opinions, and whatever the case may be, how can we put that together to make something a tool so that we can start creating different things? The thing is, and the reason why history keeps repeating itself is because as soon as we get a group of people that come together that have different perceptions, they can see through bull stuff and whatnot, because I don't like to cuss because my kids looking around. Okay, we can see through all of it. There is a divide almost instantly, whether it's height, shape, weight, color, whatever the case may be. That is their tool. That has been working since 1666. You know what I'm saying? Even before 1776, they have learned that as long as we keep them in separate corners, they will not. If you have 4 dogs and you raise them dogs together, but you keep them at different parts of the house, when they come together, these same dogs that love you dearly and call and look at you as a mother, they're going to fight because they have not grown together. We aren't growing together. We are trying to find reasons why my brick is bigger than your brick. I'm standing taller than you. And that is their tool that has not failed them yet. Yes, they are corrupt. There's a lot of stuff going on, and everything is falling out the closet, and we can see it, right? Now what are we going to do? Are we going to constantly allow our community, the people closest to us, to go through and deal with the same things? Or are we going to say, okay, listen, we know this and this and this to be true from our perception. How can we create tools to counter their tools? Technology has been out since the beginning of time. Technology has not just came out when these phones have. Yes, and you say, y'all said microchip. These phones are microchips. They've already done what they said they were going to do. We're just too naive and trusting to see it. They're using everybody. We are all victims here. We are all waking up in a matrix of illusion and just what is it? Just sadness. You see what I'm saying? Even when we wake up, we say good morning. We are saying to ourselves that I want to mourn good today. Like, are you serious? We are constantly, with these words, going back and debating with each other, constantly creating spells on each other to allow their tools to constantly work. Of course, those tools will get old. Those tools would have gotten old over the years. We are producing the oil for the tool that they're constantly using, and that's division. That is division. This stuff wouldn't work if we didn't know that there were boundaries and borderlines between us all. If we didn't know that, just like the story of Adam and Eve in the Bible, until they found out what naked was, they didn't even know they were naked. Okay, until we found out there were dividing lines, we didn't even know we were divided. We were taught that as well. We have to program ourselves from believing that we are all different people. We are here going through the same thing. Even though we're on different journeys, we are going through the same thing. No matter what color you are, no matter where you came from, no matter who you work with, what friends or connects you have, we are being victimized mentally first. Mentally. So to heal a nation, we have to heal our minds. Our minds, our crown chakra, it is so many chakras before you even get to that. We have to root ourselves. We have to make sure that we are being positively creative amongst one another. We have to make sure that we can communicate healthily between everybody in a healthy form, in a healthy way. We can't even do that. You see what I'm saying? That's like having a whole bunch of...
How do we begin to do that? How do we begin to do that when we're too busy arguing about Republican and Democrat?
Exactly.
We got to start someplace. We got to start
someplace.
Let
me tell you this.
If you're in America, then we need to start here. We can't say, well, America, the European invaders conquered America, and therefore we can't go back in time and change anything. We got to start today, like you said, and start realizing that we are all a people together that are being controlled by these criminal politicians. And the bigger head of the snake is the Federal Reserve and the central banking cartel that controls our monetary system.
Exactly. But see, this is just like a tween growing up with their parents. If your parents tell you, hey, you can't go outside, why? Because I said so. You're going to do everything in your power to persuade and change the mind of that parent to get outside. So they already have the power. How about we just agree, hey, dude, we got two different perceptions. I'm going to agree that your perception is true to you, and you can agree that my perception is true to me. Now, how can we use our perception to create something better? It sounds so hard, I swear to God, but I did it with 5-year-olds. You understand what I'm saying? We just have to understand that everybody is equally right as they are wrong. Everybody. We don't know the true facts. Nobody was here when whomever created this world created the world. We don't know what is what. All we know is what in the now is. Okay, you two, okay, your perception is that. I understand what your perception is. How can we make this better? If we constantly keep on dwelling on what's wrong, we're never going to get to feeling right. We're never going to get to thinking right. We're going to always be like, well, it's hot, and we don't have enough gas, and they're taking the oil, and who's going to watch the kids? Like, the conflict is what we need to erase in order to feel anything else. The tool of division starts with conflict. The oldest story in the book has come down to two people disagreeing. All we have to do is agree with one another. We are the little people right now, the micro people in this corporation we call America, and the only thing that we can do at this point is to merge. We have to merge mentally first. Yes, sir, I respect the fact that you feel X, Y, and Z, and yes, sir, you are correct about A, B, and C, but that is not how I feel. So because I feel this way and you feel that way, how can we blend our perceptions together to make something else? That's it. It will be the first step. That would be putting the training wheels on to this disabled way of thinking. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh my God, I feel a rush of energy through me right now because my mouth is moving, but my brain is moving faster than my mouth.
I'll tell you what, I'll leave you on the phone line, but let's take another female voice on the line here. I know this number, so I'm scanning down the call screen. I'll leave you on the line. I won't hang up on you. Let's bring Ayurveda on, and let's hear what she has to say about all this. Another female on the podcast here.
Greetings, and I'm not a female, Joe. I'm a woman. I'm a mother.
A woman. But, I know you don't like that word female. You said that a couple shows ago. I apologize.
It's all good. It's going to take us some time to change our orientation and how we speak because First of all, I just want to ask, what is that sister's name? I want to know her name. I would like to know her name.
The Truth Peddler, TROOF Peddler.
TROO. Okay. Truth Peddler.
I think what you're getting at is you want to talk to her privately, maybe off the air. That's what I think I'm getting at.
I would. I absolutely would. I just wanted to write her name down so I wouldn't forget it because I really like
I'm going to ask her right now. I'm going to ask her right now off the air without anybody knowing. I know this woman that's on the phone line. Would you mind if I sent her a message with your phone number?
I would not mind at all.
Okay, I just wanted your permission. That's all. Because I keep everyone's privacy, especially in today's world, sacred. Because trust me, I know.
I appreciate it.
But go ahead, Shaveda. Go ahead, bring your point across.
Right, there's a lot of points being made here, and I agree with the Truth Peddler that we continue going back and forth. I can go on here and say, and I'm telling the same thing all the time. And yeah, growth and togetherness is very important, and that's the unity that we have to come into in order to get out of seeing the differences that we all know and it's obvious just on plain sight. But beyond that, we are all the same because we are all in this body, we are all in this experience, and we are all here on this earthly plane. So how do we make this a community where we can exist in peace? And that is, forget the details. We're so worried about all these things that we weren't there when they made all these decisions. And then there's a lot of things have been put into play against women that women did not agree to. So, when we start looking at ourselves in the proper perspective, then we'll gain the respect for ourselves first, and then we begin to demand that respect from the outside, from outside of us. And then we train our children to know that we are not victims, but we are victors, and the victory is ours, and it's time for us to join forces. And so we have to train our children to be producers, not just consumers. They need to understand economics. They need to understand law. They need to understand civics. They need to understand who they are just in the basis of just being able to walk on your own 2 feet and know that you're in your experience. And if you allow someone to affect you within your experience, that's your choice. So what we have to do is really correct our status and get into proper persona, because we don't even first know who we are. We were given a name, but we don't accept our true name. We were never given a nation, which means that we have to come together and to build this nation. In order to build this nation, we have to begin to build with other women, the woman that's sitting right next to you, the woman that you sit next to that you won't even look at, the woman you sit next to that you won't even speak to, them children that's running around here that need somebody to just see them, to know that they being loved, just not just in their home, but outside of their home. You get what I'm saying? So really we need to bring the village back, and that is the total recall of the Ethiopian matriarch. It's not it's this Ethiopia that Joe was talking about and the Ethiopia that Mandela Khan is talking about. There's two different concepts here. Hang on. That's two different concepts. So,
but do you know
what bringing back into play? The concept that we're bringing back into play is that concept of the village and mothers coming together so we can raise our children, so we can teach our children who they are. And once we get that part, once we just get out of the whole system of this wrong way of thinking, once we get out of the system of agreeing that the woman is beneath the man, then we can move forward. No, we're not equal in stature. No, we're not. We never were. Are we equal in mindset? We can be if we choose to be. So it's all a choice. And so that's all I wanted to say at this point.
Okay, I'll leave you on the line. You can mute yourself and just unmute yourself when you get a chance. I'm going to take a private caller real quick. I wrote down the peddler's number there, and I'll send it to you privately. Of course, I would never give someone's full phone number out on the phone line because there's a lot of whack jobs that are on the phone line even tonight. And but I'm going to take another caller here, and then I'm going to let Mandela Khan come back. I don't know if there's a couple people phone numbers I recognize here on the phone line. Maybe they might want to speak. All you got to do is press 1 time. But let's take a private caller. I'm very skeptical about private callers because you never know what you're going to get on the podcast. So I'll leave everybody on the phone line that's been on. Then I want to bring Mandela Khan back. But I'll take one that's been waiting 23 minutes. Go ahead, private caller.
Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I can barely hear you. Please speak up.
Oh, give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. Sorry.
Come quickly, please, because I got a lot of people to get to here.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. First of all, I wanted to say thank you for taking my call, and you're letting the women, my sisters, talk, and I appreciate that. But I want to make sure that you please let the brother Mandela Khan get his point across. He deserves to not be interrupted when he's trying to make a point across, and let him make a point when he speaks, please. The lady before that, I'm sorry, not the lady, the woman. I don't want to offend anyone. Don't want to offend the sister, but she brought up several good points about the 4 dogs in different corners, that once you bring them together and unite them, where they've never known they were together because there was walls dividing them, when they come together, they're going to tear each other up, even though they love you, the one master. Now, that is true. The sister brought up a good point. Now, in regards to that, and the sister, Achita Vey, and the other sister's name, what was her name? Mary Hitler, and talking about the 4 dogs, I'd like to bend them both over, do them doggy style myself. What do you guys think about that?
All right.
Yeah.
You see, you started out pretty good. Now you talk stupid. Come on. I mean, is that what you really wanted to say here tonight? I mean, come on. Knock it off. We're trying to have a serious communication here on a podcast radio show live.
It is okay, because as long as you can get them off of there, we keep the vibes high.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to mute him. I'm going to let Mandela Khan come back. Go ahead, Mandela Khan.
Again, I know that there is a multitude of women under the voice of the matriarch that has came to in 2 years, and there's one woman, Acheta Veda, who is a 12-year veteran of the United States of America's federal government. And there are a plethora of others under the voice of the chosen one, S-U-N, son of the matriarch, which is the connector, Mandela Khan. This is not a popularity contest. It's only on necessity that no man, from Joe Gibson to Mandela Khan, is supposed to interfere with the mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers becoming, once again, the proper administrations and authority. No white man or black man must interfere with the affairs of the total recall of the Ethiopian Empire under class, not race, class action 567. Here's why class action 567 puts the onus on the United States of America. The supreme law of the whole planet is the common law that must be backed by international law and bingo, powerball, jackpot, natural law. That's from the Creator herself. Live and let live. That's the only law. Any other treaty, contract, or handshake is null and void because it was set up as a monopoly Ponzi scheme by the Roman Catholic Church to the Storefront Baptist Church under the Masonic Order of the Patriarch. The Masonic Order of the Patriarch comes under religion. It could be a Hebrew Israelite, Moor, Muslim, and Christian. And it all states the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost is the Holy Trinity. What my network helps you remember under the Pan-African Intelligence Network of the Ethiopian Empire of Class Action 57 helps you remember what you forgot is that is the unforgivable sin. The stolen legacy is not black versus white. It's wrong versus right. And because men were more powerful physically, they were never supposed to become the appropriators and allocators, the administrators and authority of Mother Earth. Does that ring a bell? It should. Mother Earth, Mother Nature, Mother Universe, Mother Universe, Mother Uterus, Mother Africa, all of those commodities originally was always supposed to be in the hands of the mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers. Why? So that she could appropriate and allocate the booty call, the sustenance, the commodities from Mother Earth. If the mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers were in control of Mother Earth's precious, precious resources, as well as if she was in control of her precious, precious resources above her knees, and most women are not in control because of their own condition today, that they're not even in control of the precious, precious resources above their knees. Why? Because most men control them on behalf of naked brutality and power. You don't do what I say, I'll beat your ass, I'll beat the children's ass. I'll kill you, I'll kill the children. I'll kill every goddamn thing. That's the ideology of the Masonic order of the patriarch. Now, what does that's under kill or be killed from the Genesis. Now, what does live and let live in one love authorize? If Mother Earth's resources are recalled, reclaimed, reacquired by the mothers, the majority of people on the planet Earth, not me or Joe Gibson, can say a damn thing about who gets appropriations and allocations. Isn't it extraordinary?
What? So you're saying men have no say-so, Mandela Khan? Because let me read you something from the book of Genesis here.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They do have say-so.
Between you and the women and between your offspring and her offspring. He will strike your head and you will strike his heel. Then he said to the woman, I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy, and in pain you will give birth, and you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you. So, and I'm not saying that men aren't supposed to rule over women, because we can go to Corinthians, we can go to other, because I stand up for the Bible, and you have to rightly divide the Bible to fully understand the Bible. Men should submit to their wives, and wives should submit to their husbands. That's in the book of Corinthians. So, but you're telling me that women are going to rule over men, and the men are just going to lay down and say, no problem.
I never said that.
That's not going to happen.
I never said that. I never said that.
Yes,
that's what you're trying to do.
Yes, you just did. You just said
tell you what,
men
you're going to start a riot. I tell you what, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to be quiet.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to let you interfere. Of the earth.
That's not true. That's not true, because each one, as a balance, has a responsibility of accountability, assets, and assets. As it relates to accountability, assets, and assets of the human family, men's only rule is to serve, protect, defend, and build with the righteous women. That's their only duty. Whenever the men decide to look, well, fuck it, I'm going to take control of Mother Earth.
And what happens if a woman is unrighteous, Mandela Khan? What does the man do? Submit still?
And when that happens, I don't care if she's a crack mother, prostitute, or stripper, she's better than Barack Obama and you and me as it becomes to the local county, city, state, and federal legislature.
I'm not sure about that.
And because
of
where you are, and where you want to keep this, because you want to keep what's going on, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. You're not a son of the matriarch, and you have to be in the opposition to it.
Since the women rule over us, go ahead. Allow the woman to speak.
There's no woman that backs.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm allowing the woman to speak. She wants to say something.
Okay, well, True Peddler. Let me say this before True Peddler speaks. You, Joe Gibson, and this your production, there's not one woman that say that I back Joe Gibson and what he's saying. Do you know Truth Peddler and I Say the Vader?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay,
actually,
yes,
Truth
you are.
Peddler actually did say she did back what you and I were both talking about, and she respected
that ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
You're wrong.
That's
I can
not
play
what I'm
it back
talking
for
about.
you if you want.
No. Play this back for me. Play this back for me for 2 years. I don't give a damn what woman came to your network talking. They came there because of my voice and you can't deny it, and neither can Truth Teller. So I don't give a damn what you say, Joe Gibson. You know you're wrong.
Yes, Delicon, you introduced me to a lot of women on the podcast show. Okay. Do you want to pat? That's called vanity. You want a pat on the back?
No, vanity and character assassination is you.
Can I say something?
Vanity and character assassination is that you don't have not one woman who will come back to your new world order, your founding fathers, your
back to the new world order.
Now we're gonna go on.
Okay, can I say something, you guys?
Back what and what? Who don't back?
Mandela, stop rhyming for a minute and allow Truth Peddler to speak, please.
Please.
Thank you. Go ahead, Corey.
First of all, I would like to say, yes, I do appreciate Mandela for allowing me to be able to be on the platform and to make my voice mean something. I do appreciate that, and I appreciate you too, Joe. But I want to explain something called perception, and I'm pretty sure that you guys know. I'm not trying to say that you aren't savvy on it, but perception goes like this. If you're a child and you hurt yourself, when you run, and you're both your parents in the house, when you run in the house, are you going to your mom or are you going to your dad?
Well, most children would run to their mother. I agree with you.
Okay, that's one point. And then if you are stuck, I'm talking about feeling bad, feeling sad, like, oh my God, like what? I don't even know what I'm going to do, and your mind's going and your emotions are getting away from you. Do you go to your mom or do you go to your dad?
Well, children have a special bond. Like I said in my other show, women have a maternal instinct with children. I'm talking about good women. There's a lot of women out there like Mandela brought up about crack mothers or whatnot, and we know there's bad women out there. There are that abuse their children too, just like bad men. But I'll agree with you. As a natural thing, as a natural way, yes, a woman has a natural bond with their child. Yes, I'll agree with that. So,
naturally speaking, being that natural way of things happen is a second nature to us, being natural. It would only be natural that in times of turmoil or unstable, just, chaos, that you would turn to a woman and say, what's going on? What am I supposed to do? How can I fix this? I personally believe that in a time, I don't know, I'm 28 years old. Well, I will be 28 years old. I don't know. But I believe that in a time, there was a time where the women had to maternally, naturally connected to these beings that looked up to them and respected them and had to look out for them, because not that they couldn't look out for themselves, it's because they needed the nurturing to even feel, think, or learn anything. You see what I'm saying? You have to be nurtured into that from a child. So, yeah, maybe let's just say, naturally speaking, that there may have been villages or kingdoms or queendoms or whatever where women did make those decisions. Not because we're any more superior or than the man race, just because we were naturally designed and wired to handle those situations in a fair and nurturing manner, not in a masculine and dictatorial manner. You get where I'm going?
Yeah, I agree.
The both of you are right, but the perception is that in the Bible it says that this and that, then your man will rule over you. That is a perception that they would give. That's something like a pair of shoes you go grab.
End times. That's referring. See, you have to, like I said earlier, you have to rightly divide your Bible and understand the dispensations of the Bible. We're talking about the end times. Where we're coming to a society now where the women will rule over their men, and we will be more divided than ever. And you openly admitted that. We're more divided than ever instead of getting back to our natural way and the way that things are supposed to be. And you brought up an interesting point there about children. You see, we no longer have natural affections for one another. And we can go into the book of Romans. We have men lying with men, women lying with women. And I can go to the book of Romans and read that. All these things are explained. It's a blueprint. The Bible is a great book of philosophy. And even if you just take it as that and don't have any faith that there is a God, or if you don't believe in Jesus or whatever. And look, I've destroyed Muslims on this show, Hindus, lots of people, all you have to do is point to the Bible, and then they go back to their Quran. And I remember debating with a Muslim years ago where, I pointed out to him Deuteronomy 18:18, where we were talking about, was Jesus a Jew? Well, Deuteronomy 18:18, the Muslims, the Quran, any Muslim believes in the Old Testament. And in the Old Testament it says, I will rise him up a prophet amongst his brethren. That's what God was saying. So obviously, the Old Testament was written for the Jew at the time, and then you can get into the tribes of Israel and all the separate people and how the people were scattered out abroad. You brought up the point about 4 dogs. You have 4 dogs living in different sections of the house or on the farm, and you bring them together. What happens? Everyone's attacking each other. I'm better than you. You're this. You're black. I hate you. And the Bible addresses these issues. That's all I'm trying to say.
But Joe, can I ask you a question? Yeah. If you had a book that told you the beginning to the end what your life would be, if you had a book that told you this is what the end is going to be like, and you see it unfolding before you, what would you do?
I would try to win people to that book and say, hey, this is going to be the end, like the book, like the Bible says. And say, hey, look,
you counter it.
Well, now listen,
you
let me
counter
ask you a
it.
question. If you knew you were going to die tomorrow, for instance, I don't know what you believe in, and I'm not judging you for what you believe in, but if you knew you were going to die tomorrow, so let's pretend God told everybody, look, on July 1st tomorrow, the world's going to end. What the heck do you think humankind would do during that last 24 hours? They'd kill each other. They have no faith in anything.
Yes.
We just destroy each other and take whatever we can get because we're all going to die tomorrow. That's why faith comes into play. You got to have a little faith.
So I was saying that to say this. So if you had a book and then you knew how the end was, and you could, in fact, counter everything that's happening that would lead to that very end that they told you it would happen like that. It's so crazy to me because, like, I am an introvert, extrovert, because I feel like people are so confusing. If we have the answer to what's going to happen, we know how it's going to end. We are 1,000 billion gajillion people. We could change the outcome. If all of these things are leading to the end, then how about these people out there that are doing all of this bad stuff and running around killing everybody? What's wrong? Obviously, there's a mental imbalance.
Right. The Bible addresses that also. Exalteth a nation that is righteous. I will heal that nation. Are we righteous? Are we not becoming more and more screwed up today? More and more hateful towards one another? Wars, rumors of wars. That's a theological topic, actually.
We're being provoked to stay in that energy.
We
could change our energy.
You're absolutely correct. We're being provoked. Yeah. I'll agree with you there.
We can change our energy in 3 days. In 3 days, the entire world can change the energy that this earth is vibrating on by just changing their perceptions about themselves and one another. You see what I'm saying? If the end is coming and all of these bad things are happening in my environment and where I am and the people that I'm around, I'm going to make sure we're countering everything that could cause this, so say, the end, because in that way I am going against what's going to end me. I'm not claiming the end for myself. You know what I'm saying? We just give up. Oh, the end tomorrow? Let's kill everybody. Yeah, like what in reality, what type of perception is that really? And do you see where healing needs to be taking place? Because if we hear the end is coming, we can't look at each other and cry and say, wow, we are really about to all leave here. I love you. I'm not going to be able to see you ever again. The first thing we jump through is let's take everything for ourselves. We're going to die tomorrow? Like, let's take a step if you're not going to have it tomorrow. That's a perception that has been plugged into us that is constantly running because we aren't countering it. We aren't countering. It's energy. It's just energy. I just spoke about, hey, let's respect each other's perceptions. And then you guys were debating over again, like 2 minutes later. That's an energy. That's an energy.
Well, that's negative energy. You're absolutely correct. I agree with you. I'll leave you on the line. The show's not over, but I got a bunch of other people here that I do recognize some of the numbers, so I'll bring them on.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead. That's all right.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
Go ahead, 336.
Yeah, I just chimed in to make a comment. I noticed when she started talking, she thanked Mandela Khan for allowing her on the show. Whose show is it?
Now, there's
Then
trying to conquer the divide. The usual suspect.
I'll answer that.
No woman will back this guy.
It's just kind of like when you say
Shut up.
You know what I mean?
No woman will come back this guy up, no matter what he says.
Miss Winters?
Okay, all right. Let's not play tit for tat on words. Let's not do that.
I'm not playing tit for tat on words, but you're not paying attention. You're thanking him for bringing 2 women on the show when I can name 3 that turned it off because of him.
That's not.
So it's
not true.
Tit for tat there.
That's not true.
It is
that's not true.
Okay, it ain't true. Because you're God.
Okay, that's true.
Tell me one woman. One woman. Give me one woman.
Let him speak.
Leroy, give me one woman that backs what you say.
All right,
give you one woman.
People say a lot of things, but it's okay. So just go ahead, carry on.
Give you one woman that turned it off when she heard you talk. One woman. I'll give you one. Deborah Lewis. She's been on the show. She turned it off when she heard you talking. Okay, that's one woman. There's 2 more, but I'm not going to give out no more names.
A round of applause for the irrelevant man. A round of applause for the lonely man.
That's right.
Let's
a round of applause.
The times in which we live in. Let's not divide each other.
I'm not trying to divide. I'm just making a point.
No woman will back
believe me, I'm not trying to divide. I think what Mandela and all them are preaching is wonderful.
And there's not one woman that will back this guy from this day forward.
Okay.
Now, shut up before I give you an American ass whooping.
All right,
Jesus.
just speak, please. 336. Let's not attack Mandela. Let's not twist words around. Let's just speak to each other. And
I didn't switch a single word around. They were the exact words of what they say. Okay, now I really believe you would quit interrupting somebody for 10 seconds. Jesus, we might be able to finish a thought. You interrupt Mandela, you interrupt everybody. Let somebody finish. I was fixing to say, if Mandela and Archivade and all them, if their life existed, if their views, it would be a wonderful world. But how do you get to that point? That's my question.
I think you got me muted.
All right. Mandela, do you want to answer his question? How do we get to that wonderful world point?
No, I want to.
Because he can't.
All right, you're not going to answer his question. Okay,
no, I didn't say I wouldn't. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. What I said was,
music is the master
I'm not satisfied hearing my voice, your voice, or his voice over and over again. I'm bringing in other voices. This guy is not bringing in no voices, and that's what I'm fighting. I need 11 million people to bring in the Ethiopian matriarch, and I'm going to do it with or without his ass. Bring someone to the table. That's all I'm saying. I don't have no question or answer for him.
That's fine. Okay, you answered his question. You have no personal answer for him. Okay. 336, do you have any other questions to bring? I won't interrupt you. Nobody else will.
No, but it just proved my point.
Okay.
That's all. That's it.
Okay. You proved your point. Okay. I'll agree with you. You proved your point. Okay. I'll leave you on the line here. 917, go ahead.
Hey man, how you doing, Joseph Gibson? I just wanted to say something real quick. This is Ronnie, by the way. Can I do what I do? Can I do what I do? Can I say what I say? Here I go. 2 other ladies in the place for style and grace. Allow me to lace these lyrical dishes with bush rock grooves that moves with all the mindies. The back of the club, sipping mo was where you find me. The back of the club, knocking holes back who's behind me. Bad question to ask him, blunt, have some music blasting, but I just quit because one of these honeys they got to creep with. That's right, sleep with, keep up a secret. Why not? I blow up the spot because we both got.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm not a recording studio. Go make a rap record someplace. Okay. Next private caller. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello.
Oh no! Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, you said hello for 30 seconds. What's your point?
I wanted to say hello to my Nubian
All right, you did.
sisters.
All right, that's what you wanted to do. You just said it. You wanted to say hello. Good. You said hello. Hello back to you. Next private caller. Go ahead. Okay, you want to play games too. Okay. All right. Well, there he goes. Now I think you want to speak. Go ahead, private caller. Go ahead. Make your point, please.
Mr. Gibson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. That's why I unmuted you. Go ahead.
This is Mike from West Virginia. I really enjoy your platform. I want to touch on the matriarch, if I could. The matriarch is
You can ask a question about the matriarch. That's what we're trying to learn about here tonight, the matriarch. Go ahead. You can ask a question, but if you're going to ask the question to 18 different people, everyone's going to jump in. So do you have a particular question for somebody, or do you want to make a comment about the matriarch?
I want to direct it to you, and you can give me your feedback. I think the matriarch is perpetuating rape culture. This might be one of them city slicker words, or you call it a trope, but the matriarch was the catalyst for hypersexual women. This demonic culture originated in the Horn of Africa. In the eyes of the matriarch, women saw no immorality in doing what nature prompts. I wanted to get your feedback here, Mr. Gibson.
Well, I haven't. I'm trying to study the matriarch too. That's why I'm having these callers call in and talk about the matriarch. So I have no answer for you, to be honest with you. Okay, I'm trying to learn about it and allow these people from the matriarch to come on and talk about the matriarch. But every time I ask a question to Mendelicon, I start getting yelled at and rhymed at. And I want to know about the total recall. And he mentioned the Ethiopian Empire, and I was just telling him about the current country of Ethiopia, and then he started saying no. So I wanted to know about the future Ethiopia Empire. So that's what we're trying to learn here. That's what we're all trying to understand, the Ethiopian Empire and the matriarch. What is it? We can talk about the past. We can argue about 2,000 years ago. There's no such thing as Israel, and there's no such thing. But yet but Mendelicon will say he recognizes the Roman Vatican Church or the Roman Empire. Well, the Roman Empire obviously enslaved the Jews, so therefore, obviously, the Roman Empire recognized Israel or the Jewish people. So therefore, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But I'll allow Mendelicon to maybe explore on that. Anyone else who's on the phone line here? Maybe Arshavedic or 248 can maybe explain the matriarch and the People's Revolution a little bit further in detail without anyone attacking her.
How is the matriarch not a rape culture?
I need 989 on the line next, Joe Gibson. 989.
All right.
Coming out of
Michigan.
Michigan.
But can we answer this? Well, hang on. I got to scroll down here at 989. Hang on. All right. Mendelicon wants 989. Hang on. I got to scroll down. I've got about 200 callers here. He's at 989 is at the bottom. They didn't press 1, so I'll unmute him. You said you wanted 989, so I'm going to bring 989 on. Okay? Maybe they can answer the question that the last caller just proposed to the people of the matriarch here. After all, that's what this show is about, to understand the times in which we live in today. But we start reverting back to negativity and the past. That's one thing we don't need to do. Okay, 989, go ahead.
Hello.
I'm trying to unmute you. Go ahead, 989, go ahead.
You got me unmuted?
I got you live.
Joe?
Go ahead. I think I recognize your voice. Amy, correct?
Yes, correct. And I can speak for the matriarch. And no, we are not race baiting or doing anything of the such. We are trying to destroy the current system and create paradise. That's it. It's simple. People are making this so difficult, and it's not. And it's frustrating to the matriarch. We are grandmothers. We have seen generations. We have learned from our ancestors. And what's going on today, it's got to go. It's destroying our whole life.
Okay.
It's easy breezy. People are making it difficult.
I wanted to say
someone
something.
wanted to jump in there. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I have a question to the I was stepped away for a minute, but I'm back now, and I didn't hear the questions, but I have a question for the two new people that came on, because I don't know who's who. I'm sorry I didn't catch anyone's name. My thing is this: as we
Amy, the
started
daughter of the
talking,
matriarch, and Akeda Vader, another chosen daughter of the matriarch.
Without you interrupting.
She said she didn't hear the name.
Right,
I want to let her know.
Okay.
All right.
So my thing is this, like I said, and I pride myself on not getting too serious into any one thing, because it is so false and phony. Everything we worry and stress about is so phony and fake that when we realize it, we'll wake up and understand that, like I said, everybody's a victim. There's no reason why anybody should come on here in a defensive way, when the only thing we're trying to do is let everybody know that we are being done so unfairly that if we don't wake up, then we are predicting our end with whatever religion you believe in, and we are accepting it. So my question to you guys is, when you asked Mandela Khan, like, what is it that he brought? I mean, or you wanted him to get recognition for the people he brought on, or whatever the case may be. When I came on and I thanked him for allowing me this platform, it was because I don't do this. I speak to my community. I don't speak outwardly to a lot of different people. And I thanked him because he contacted me. I don't talk to this man on a daily basis. I don't know what he does on an everyday thing. I have a respect for him. Because he has been the most consistent and is doing something that makes the most sense regardless of his perception. So my question to you is, why, like, what is it that you want to understand, or what is it that we can do collectively? I don't know you personally, but what is it we can do to fix something? Because the more we try to defend against and to create more details which are faulty to begin with, we're not going to get anywhere.
Let it fall.
Okay.
Let it fall, and
right.
We rebuild it.
You see what I'm saying? But as a collective, regardless if we are still on the same journey, I'm pretty sure that everybody wants to be happy and blissful and to not worry about the small things and not have to worry about we being lied to every day. That is the main goal. It doesn't matter who and how we get there. It doesn't matter. I really came on here because I'm thinking that this platform would allow me to speak to people who want to fix and help each other. I love everybody on this phone. I don't know y'all from a can of paint or the Home Depot you came out of, but I love you because I know that you are a person with a soul. And if I were to see you and you were hungry, I would give to you. And if you was cold, I would give off my back. And those motherly things that I'm pretty sure the matriarch represents.
We nurture and provide.
We're not trying to. This is not a hurtful thing.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said earlier, I've Mandela Khan criticizes me for it, but all my answers are in the King James Bible. I mean, you talk about paradise. There's not going to be any paradise on earth. It's not going to happen. None of us have been in paradise ever since the Garden of Eden.
Joe, let me just interject quickly right there.
If you want to create paradise on earth, my God says there's never going to be when they see these people come upon them, and we need that happen our very eyes and ears right here on this podcast.
Let me just clear up something right quick. That the people's bloodless revolution under the matriarch is not about religion. I don't care if you're a Hebrew Israelite, a Muslim, or a Christian. Your Bible, Torah, and Quran has no jurisdiction on the people's birthrights. Your religion, keep it in your house, keep it in your apartment, keep it in your tent, keep it in your synagogue or whatever.
But it has nothing to do with my next door neighbor and say, hey, I believe in this. Am I wrong?
Revolution has nothing to do with your religion.
Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus
I don't give a damn what Allah
but you're telling me Mother Earth is the way, the truth, and the life, but you're not providing me any type of doctrinal doctoral,
your religion has nothing to do with the total recall of the Ethiopian matriarch.
That was my question there that the last caller says. She said, how can we answer your questions? I just wanted some doctrinal, inspirational, and historical evidence that could back up, because you talked about earlier, Mandela Khan, the old world order is coming back. I can't find an old world order anywhere unless I go to my
I know,
King James
because
Bible.
it's hidden under the new world order that you represent. I'm telling you that religion has nothing to do with freedom, justice, and total independence. Not nothing. So you can keep quoting the Bible and all that you want. It has nothing to do with the people's revolution of the matriarch. Nothing at all.
Okay, so, like I said, then we get back to the age-old question: is when you die, what happens when you die? Then, because every person wants to know what happens when they die. Where are you going to go?
Whatever your perception tells you happens when you die, you die. That's what happens.
No, energy does not die at all. It only transforms from one thing to the next. So you are transmuted into a whole nother form. So whatever that form is for you, in my opinion, if you acted like a bump on the log while you were here, then you're going to come back as a bump on the log. If you acted like, if you were someone great, a giant skunk, you're going to come into another form where you're going to do the work that you had not completed. So who knows what goes on or what happens after death takes place? Only the dead can tell that story. And if you are open vessel to receive these messages as a medium on this planet, that's the only way we can understand what happens. And still, those who think in a closed mind frame still won't understand this whole process. So there ain't even no sense in having that conversation. The point of the matter is we are all right here, right now, on this plane, and we're talking about what's paradise, and we'll never have paradise. Paradise got to start in your mind first. If you don't live in a paradise within your mind, you're living in hell.
Create it.
If you live in hell, you're going to create hell for all those.
Well, basically what I was trying to ask was, who is our creator? Who created us?
Receive that.
Are you saying that we evolved? I mean, there's always a positive and a negative. There's no in between.
Absolutely.
That's what I was trying to say.
You need a female to a male in order to even get an electrical spark for anything to work. So therefore, a man and a woman have to come together in order to create another being. That's the two to come into one, to be one, and that's that child. And then that child we are supposed to be bringing into reality the changes that we want to see. We are to be for our children what we needed as children. And so that's the most important thing until we get that part. We're so lost because we're still thinking about ourselves. We're selfish. We've been taught to be selfish. We've been trained to be selfish.
But my thing is, why does it matter how we were created? We all here. I see you. I feel you. If you cry, I feel you cry. If you're mad, I feel your anger. Why does it matter who brought us here? The point is, what are we going to do now?
We become energy? That's what I'm saying. Is that what my question is? So you're saying when we die,
it's whatever your perception allows.
And what happens to that energy?
It's whatever your perception allows. Because for me to explain to you, my perception of what happens after death wouldn't make sense to you because your perception already is Christian. You have a Christian perception. So if I were to explain to you how I felt about what happened after we died, it wouldn't make sense.
I'm not a Christian. I'm actually nowhere. I'm not a Christian. Christian is
you quoted the Bible. You quoted the Bible. So
I mean, for real, we so busy.
Well, I quote the Bible because I'm a believer in the word of God, and I believe that God is powerful enough to preserve His word for all men to see. But
and what's to say that's not what you needed?
A while. Hang on, let me take one more caller real quick. 952. Yep, go ahead.
How's it going, Joseph Gibson? Yep, how's it going? This is Frank. Am I
okay, Frank, real quick.
This is Frank. Okay, well, this is a very interesting show, a very interesting platform, and it's live, and that's what I like about it, because it's live, and I'm on the platform. Now, the one thing that I wanted to get across to everyone is we need to learn to get along. Long time ago, when back in 1992, when Rodney King, when the police officers beat him, and they really hurt him, that was a black man that got beat up. And then that was a trucker named Reginald Denny and then he got beat up by the black people too, and the white cops beat up Rodney King. You know, and back then someone reported that, so it was good. But it's what
all
I'm
right, all right. So what's your point? What's your point, sir?
That Rodney King said very, very famous words. Can't we all just get along? And I just think we should all just get along. That's all I'm saying. Can't we all just get along?
Okay.
And you guys, and you know, it's about peace and love and one love. Whether you know, I just realized now that the matriarch and the patriarch are two different things. I thought it was the same thing that Mandela Khan was preaching, but you know, hey, and you know what, Joseph Gibson, if one of those ladies is single and is interested in wanting to date me, yeah, go ahead and give her my number.
All right. You made some good points there. Now you're talking silly.
Mr. Gibson, I asked the group here to change my mind.
Again, you know, the first thing a man thinks about is hooking up with a woman. You know,
and all I heard was talking about African indigent.
All right. Let's go to one more. I got to do closing thoughts for everybody. I want to give everyone five minutes because I got 30 minutes left. So I'll take one more caller real quick here. And then I'll give everyone some closing thoughts here to the podcast. Actually, I got more people that I can give 5 minutes to. So I'll take one more caller. Actually, no, I already took that caller. Sorry. Hang on. You got to remember, folks. I'm hosting a show here. I've got a lot of callers. I'm just trying to make sure we don't get any idiots on here who start saying the N-word and talking about slut this and that. You know, I get a lot of private messages when I'm doing this show. I'm trying to keep the show clean. I really am. You know, it's an interesting podcast. So how about this? I'll start with Amy first. I'll give her 3 minutes. Just give some closing thoughts, Amy, to the podcast, and I'll move up the line. Hopefully everyone will respect everybody and the show here tonight. Let's do that. And I'll let Mandela Khan wrap it up at the end. How's that sound? Go ahead, Amy. You're first.
That sounds very good, Joe. But we're all trying to get along. I heard the last caller. We're all trying to get along. We have to stop abiding by the system if we want the system to change. You can't keep paying your taxes and buying corporate branded bull crap that you know is poisoning your family. You can't keep sending your children to their schools to have them educated when you know they're not teaching them nothing good. You can't let them get poked with all their needles and all their bull crap. If you want the system to change, you got to not participate. It's simple. I mean, it's not, but it is. You just say no.
That's
okay.
Your message?
Okay, Amy. I didn't know if you were finished. Sorry. Just say I yield when you're finished, but you got about a minute left. Go ahead.
Amy, can you yield your time to me?
I yield.
Okay, thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. I appreciate your call. I appreciate your calling in tonight, and hopefully you'll listen to everyone else's closing here to the podcast.
Okay.
I'm not taking the 70 private callers because they're just going to distract us from the original topic and what we're trying to talk about here. Asheveda, go ahead. You're next, and then I want, before Mandela Khan wraps up, I want 248 to also. Asheveda, go ahead. Take 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. And yes, it has been a very interesting phone call, Joe. Thank you for always allowing me to have a voice on your show, Mandela Khan. Thank you for just being who you are, the chosen son, with the information that you hold, and continuously coming on here to repeat yourself to the point where people are coming on here and repeating your story for you, or your narrative, you know, what we're speaking of, and they're doing it in a silly, funny kind of way, but it's really interesting because it's got to be getting some attention in order for this to happen. So we just need to keep on doing what we're doing. so we can bring the revolution of the matriarch in. Yes, I like the information about the people of the locks, and I'm going to look into that. So thank you for that information. And we are in the total recall of Ethiopia, and that is bringing in the old world order, so we do not go into the new world order as they are trying to put it together for us. And we have to take control of social media. We have to take control of the music, and this is what's going to change the vibrations in which the earth is vibrating on right now. If we continue to vibrate, if we continue to vibrate on the vibrations in which they sped up the vibration of the music for a purpose, so we could go way faster than what we are. Our children are growing up so much faster in information that is not substantial to our growth as a people, but to their growth into the system in which they are leading us into further and deeper into away from the matriarch and into the patriarch. See, it's interesting the fact that many people don't even know what the matriarch is in order to even understand the concept. It is not anything to do with women controlling men. And I want to give great honor to Mother Amy, who has identified herself as a matriarchal mother. And I have great respect for you coming on and speaking what you have spoken. More of us women need to get together and get on this same orientation. The more of us are speaking the same thing, the easier it'll be to grasp the concept. The quicker it'll be for the concept to come into play, because then we'll all be speaking the same thing. We'll be sounding off in the same manner. And I've spoken on this before, Joe. Like as a choir, you got the sopranos, altos, tenors, and bass. You got different groups that sound the same, and each individual person in those groups have their own individual sound. But together in that one group, sopranos, altos, tenor, and bass, they have to bring their voices together and sound out together. But when you bring all four groups together, and I didn't even think of this concept of the four corners, all of this information is coming together. We're saying it differently, but are we really saying the same thing? Yeah, we're just saying it differently. So if we just take our mind off the fact that you didn't say it the way I said it, just understand the energy that's behind the words. See, we're speaking about energy because we don't even understand energy. Energy is what we feel. We cannot see energy. We're trying to put a face on God. We're trying to put a face on this. We're trying to put a face on that. And there's no face to it. If we just get out of the titles, if we just get out of the borders, we can really see that we are limitless. We are not limited. The sky is not the limit. We can go beyond the sky. And once we see that, then we can therefore transmute right here on this planet. And we can bring on another perspective on how things are seen. If we start writing and start telling our truth, if we just start screaming a little bit and get out of our silence, maybe more people will wake up. See, we got a lot of sleeping giants around us, and they don't even know that they're giants. And they're being that's just like the story of the lion and the rat. They can be together. They could be friends. The lion doesn't have to always be out to get the rat, or the rat could actually trick the lion into thinking that the rat is in charge and the lion is not. So it's all a matter of how the lion understands itself and how the rat understands itself. But if you understand that we're all beings, no matter how different we are, then we can still come together. And the whole point is unity and bringing that unity back into a community. What is common with us? Forget the differences. What do we have in common? Are you tired of the injustice system? I am. So if you just are tired of it as I am.
All right, Archivade, I got about 20 seconds. I got to get to everybody here before the end, okay?
All right. And I appreciate it, and I'm done. I just want to say we got to bring the unity back into the community, and that's
Gibson?
the community of Earth. Thank you.
Hear me?
Yeah, hang on. No, we're going in order here. Nobody interrupt everyone's closing here. I'm getting to everybody that's still on the line here. Dr. Leroy, I told you were next, so go ahead. You want to say something here at the end here?
No, you can let someone else. You can let someone else go before me, and maybe that damn wind tunnel will quiet down. I can't hear nothing. Someone sounds like they got their head out the window.
Private caller, go ahead, because I think it's you, actually.
Gibson,
go ahead.
Just one last comment about this demonic matriarch. If the matriarch is so good for the world, especially our children's, Why have they killed 1.5 billion children by abortion since 1980? Changed my mind. All I've heard so far from the Pan-African Institute Network is talking points. Get off your talking points. Give me some facts. Amen.
All right. Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Maybe someone will answer your question. It was you, actually, with that wind tunnel in the background. You got to watch your background noise, people. Yeah, you really do. Okay, let's see here. Let me go up the line here. 248. Dr. Leroy reserves the right to have a comment here at the end because he said he wanted to wait. So 248, and then Dr. Leroy, and then MandelaCon's going to wrap up the podcast here. So go ahead, 248.
I'm going to say this. You guys, I'm not going to say you guys, I'm saying people in general, humans in general, have this thing about if I go on Google and I see it on there, then it's true. We don't know what happened. How can you know what happened since the 80s? If you listen, logically, people, just listen. If you weren't there to see these things, going to stop believing. Stop being naive to believe everything you hear and everything you see. We are way, way, way behind in knowing and intellect of what they're doing. We don't have intel on what they're doing to us or how they're trying to do it. I read something online about me, and I know exactly who I am, and I have to look at it like, wow. This is really online about me. I have my own business, but this is online about me. How is this possible? People do things just to keep things going. That information that you have, I can't say that it's true or it's not. Personally, I don't research that because I'm trying to get to know myself, and that's what my comment was going to be before my time runs out. If we don't get to start holding ourselves accountable for the reactions, the energy, the mindsets, the intentions that we give out to the universe all the time, and we constantly receiving that back, how will we make any progress? Take accountability for what's going on in your life. Don't, if this happened, then how can you fix that now? How can you change that negative into a positive right now? That is the thing. Yeah, we don't know how we got here. It doesn't matter who created us. We are all here together. And if we got to share this planet together, why not try to be compassionate and tolerant of each other, regardless? Like, come on. Kids, children, before they are fed all of this bull stuff, love each other. They love everybody. They love their aunts. They love their uncles, their brothers. You are taught poison, and then you spew it out of your mouth to everybody who can get infected with it. And that's what energy is. Energy is so powerful that your intentions behind your words can be felt, can lower or higher in energy. So line your intentions up with your actions and worry about what you're doing, not what has been done. What can you do for the future? If you can't do anything for the future, why complain about spilt milk? And I yield.
All right. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for respecting the platform. And you didn't yell over anybody. You always asked can I speak? And that's what we need. We don't need people yelling at each other and creating chaos. So Dr. Leroy, do you want to now ask any questions or have some closing thoughts here before I get to MandelaCon, or do you want to just stay on mute or whatever?
I'll say something real quick. What the hell? I was going to touch off back when y'all was getting a little religious there on the show. And, everyone's talking about the creator and creator this and creator that. And my main thing is, what about the creator of other places in this universe that we may not know exist yet? I mean, who's their creator? Is it the same creator? Is it as us or what? And no one can seem to answer that one. But the last lady touched off on basically worry about yourself and what you can do to make things better. Quit living in the past. I mean, you hear so many people living in the past. Oh, we need this, we need that, blah, 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 blah. Listen, no one I know of in my family has ever owned slaves or anything like that. So don't blame me or say you need reparations from me. I'm not paying for it. But, America is the greatest country on earth as of right now. You can argue with it all you want to, but it's the best place in the world. And if you go to other places in the world, why do you think people are wanting to come here? Why people come here illegally and fight to get here? They don't fight to get in Nicaragua. They don't fight to get into Ethiopia. They don't fight to get in anywhere in Europe. They fight to come here because this is the greatest country, the land of opportunity. And it's always been that way and always will be. And we accept people that come here illegally. Some countries don't. So you can't be putting down America and talking how bad it is here when you live here. go live somewhere else for a while. You will be back. I promise you that. And, you want a funny fact about Americans? Americans consume 3 billion pizzas in total per year. That's a lot of damn pizza. And I will yield.
Okay, all right. And I know, Dr. Leroy, you've come on this show before, and you've traveled I don't know how many countries or whatnot, so you've been around the world. I'll give you that. And you've been to, I think, every single country in the world almost. So he's not lying about that, about America. I mean, he's seen other countries. Actually, he got chased out of Egypt when he was there. Thank God you made it out alive, right? But
yeah,
anyway,
that was a little scary.
All right, Mendelicon, go ahead. I'm giving you the floor. I won't interrupt. I haven't interrupted one person on their closing comment, so you can't say I always interrupt and interject. So go ahead, Mendelicon.
Thank you so much, Joe, and for concluding the program with me being, as you say, I'll give you the final word. It's the matriarch, the Ethiopian recall of Class Action 567 that we can prove in the archives of understanding the times we live in today. There were a plethora of daughters of the matriarch on the line, consistency with 2 years, and that is extraordinary of a revelation that we can prove. Now I'm going to add another testimony that I can prove that everyone over 40, whether you're black, brown, red, yellow, and white, old, young, gay, straight, or like, you are wrong as relates to her story. Not history. You are right if you're over 40 as relates to history. But when it comes to the Ethiopian matriarch and the total recall of her story, here's where you're wrong. I can prove that my voice will never be heard on the FCC, radio, TV, MTV, BET, 10, 6, and 3, Fox, CNN, or under MSNBC. My voice will never be heard. That means under the FCC, the control channel of state-sponsored terrorism, my voice will never be heard. But isn't it extraordinary that I told you that the cross versus the Ankh, the Ankh is a representative of the Ethiopian Empire and the total recall of Class Action 567 because of creation, the symbol of fertility that predates the cross. And everyone under 40, all colors on the planet, they are remembering and they are recognizing what the elderly people over 40 forgot. And what was that? That was freedom, justice, and total independence for everybody. And how do I know that the Ankh is gradually and slowly surrounding the cross all over the planet? Because only on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Blog Talk Radio will you ever hear anyone come to you on behalf of the Ankh. Us under the matriarch. That's under the fertility. That's the symbol of life. The cross is a symbol of death. The cross is a symbol of death. Now, how could it be on FCC radio and TV that the cross, whether it's from the Storefront Baptist Church to the Roman Catholic Church, that everyone who gets on TV, they say they thank God for giving them this victory on this Academy Award or this boxing match or such and such and such and such, right? They under the cross. But none of them will say Afidi Hodie, Namaste, Hotep, and Ashe. The people under 40 all over the planet are saying this term. They're not saying praise the Lord and Jesus Christ. They're not saying Assalamu Alaikum or Islam or I love Jehovah. They are saying the Ankh, Afidi Hodie, Namaste, Hotep, and Ashe. 40 years and younger, the people are remembering what they forgot under the matriarch because the Ankh, A-N-K-H, represents fertility, the creator herself, that is live and let live in one love. I am telling you, without unreasonable doubt, that in the first 48 hours when we get the cumulative numbers under the Ankh, under the matriarch, under Apridi Hodie Namaste Hotep Nashe, under the sovereignty, the integrity, and dignity of the Ethiopian mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers, and they are not all black, and they are not all men. And I'm telling you, when we get the cumulative numbers, we are going to overturn this rotten, filthy social system without firing a shot. Kill or be killed is only under the jurisdiction.
All right, 30 seconds, Mandela Khan, then I got to wrap it up.
Kill or be killed is only under the auspices of history. Her story is etched in social media, and the Ankh will defeat the cross. I don't give a damn if your orientation from Hebrew Israelite, Moors, Muslims, and Christians. And because we have Amy, Truth Peddler, and the chosen daughter Aksheda Veda, a plethora of women that represents the matriarch, there's not a man, including the producer of Understanding the Sign, the Times in which we live, that has a woman that says that your way of life is what we are working for. You've heard in the archives of Her Majesty's Righteous Order, the total recall of class, not race. It's not black versus white. It's about wrong versus right. It was wrong for white men and black men to control Mother Earth. Now it is right for us to do the right thing and recall.
Okay, Mandela Khan, I'm going to take two more callers here before I wrap it up. I gave you your time.
Much love, much respect.
Like I promised.
Much love, much respect.
Okay, all right, 412. Go ahead, 412.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about pedophilia and how you have been subjecting children to pedophilia and how you've been diddling them.
I've been subjecting people. Another crank caller.
Yeah.
Amazing.
No. I want to talk about your pedophilia. Let's talk about this right now. Let's get this out in the open. Because if not, I'm going to be calling the police.
Let's get out in the open while you follow him around on every damn radio show.
Yeah. Okay. So why is it that you guys are all about pedophilia? Why is it?
Why are you so concerned about pedophilia? You must be one yourself.
Why are you molesting children? How many times have you diddled a child? This is horrible. I think people should know about your
children.
You molester, son of a bitch. I cannot believe that you do that.
And like Dr. Leroy said, you're on every Blog Talk radio show, harassing Blog Talk radio show hosts.
How many people have you diddled?
And you're one of those crank callers that call me about Lionel Richie tickets,
you're one
sending me
diddling son
text
of a
messages.
bitch. I cannot believe that you would do such a thing. How does Blog Talk keep you on their fucking show? I'm going to reach out to
you. Why don't you make a complaint?
Why don't
you make a complaint? Contact Blog Talk and try to get me off the air.
I will.
Thousands have in the past.
Yes.
It won't work.
No, not thousands. No, you don't have that many followers, you idiot.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? No, you're the idiot.
You're a diddler.
You're a bottom dweller.
You are a diddler,
sir.
You are a diddling scumbag.
Yeah. Where are you from, sir? You didn't say where you're from.
Texas.
The deepest shithole in the country.
Texas?
That's right.
So why are you calling me from a 412 area code then?
Midland, Texas, my friend.
Are you breaking federal law? Are you breaking federal law, spoofing your caller ID?
Listen, you diddler.
Yeah.
Are you diddling?
Yeah. Hey, pal, listen.
Let me ask you what's worse. What's worse?
Go have sex with your mother and your two sisters.
You're a horrible
that's all
person.
You're ever gonna get.
You are a child molester. You diddling son of a bitch.
You are one sick bastard.
You are one sick man.
I'll add that to the list.
Sick man.
This is one of the crank callers, folks, that likes to harass me off the air.
Shut up when I am speaking. I'm trying to say something.
You shut up.
You shut up.
You shut up.
Tell you something.
You shut up, you punk. You shut up, you punk. What you are, you're a bottom dweller, and you're trying to wrap up a show that we had a very intellectual conversation here on. What you are, you're one of those crank callers that text me, and I contacted you punks last night on my show, but you were too busy probably playing with yourself in your parents' basement, looking at naked girls. You're a punk. You're a scumbag.
And
that's why I got a big mouth, and I am very closed-minded to people like you. I called you last night, and you wouldn't answer the phone, you punk. You punk. You moonbat. That's what you are. You're a moonbat. You are the reason why we have conversations on this. Instead of listening, okay, you're too busy yapping your fat trap. Instead of paying attention, you're too busy looking at naked girls. Okay? You want to say one more thing? He wants to say one more thing. Go ahead, say one more thing, punk. I'll give you 10 seconds. Quick.
You got it. Okay, just shut your mouth for a second and we'll be just fine. Okay, stupid? All right, so what I was going to say is, first and foremost, fuck you, Joseph Gibson.
Yeah, all right. Whatever. Yeah, that's what I get, folks. That's what I get. Now, I think I got one more here real quick here. And he thinks he's blocking his number with a private call. That's what he thinks he's doing. But I don't you know that technology can overcome all that? But let's see if this is one of these other idiots here. Go ahead, private caller. Go ahead.
How you doing?
Go ahead, private caller. Are you one of the idiots I called last night that was a coward and didn't answer your phone, or are you somebody different?
Joseph Gibson. This is Juan from Alabama. I'm normally
Alabama. You're from Alabama. All right, I'm going to wrap up the show here. I want to thank Archiveda. I want to thank Truth Teller. Amy for Amy there. She hung up. MandelaCon, of course, as always. But MandelaCon, you see, when I do a show like this is the crap that I have to put up with. I get these people that harass me and threaten me. But don't worry.
But Joe, you know what? They listen. Joe, they listen to your whole show for an hour and 45 minutes just to do that. Ain't that wonderful?
Yeah, I know. That's a beautiful thing, like MandelaCon would say. That's a beautiful thing. All right? But anyway, I got to wrap up the podcast here tonight. Thank you, Dr. Leroy, too. Also, Archiveda, again, I appreciate you listening in. Let's see here. Amy, and there were a few others that chipped in here tonight. But the trolls will continue to attack me. But you know what? If no one does it, then, somebody's got to do it. Let's put it that way. Somebody's got to entertain the idiots out there. But someone also has to educate the people and try to bring the people together. These zombies will wake up sooner or later. Sooner or later, they will. Let's hope and pray they will. No matter what God you want to pray to, whatever you want to do, at least you could do is wake up, get off the chemicals, start not eating the poisonous foods, stop drinking the fluoride in the water, stop getting your mercury vaccinations, and there's a whole bunch of other things I'd like to say, but we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Hang on, I got to clear my call screen. Good night, everybody. Take care. Oh, Archiveda, I sent you a private message with that female's phone number there. So I sent you that. So give her a call. She wants to talk to you. All right? So take care. Everybody, the end of the show is right now. Good night.